Hey boys and girls, and welcome back to the incredible Z Games. Let me hear you guys make some noise. Okay. Well, my name is Mr. Isaiah, and that noisemaker over there is Mr. Will. And today, we're gonna bring you another speed sermon that goes along with our big idea. Do you guys remember it? Not even close. It has to do with Jesus and winning. Jesus won for me. Now for today's story, it's gonna get a little hot. Right. Our story begins with a king by the name of Nebuchadnezzar. King Nebuchadnezzar was a powerful king. A king who got whatever he wanted, however he wanted, and whenever he wanted. Can someone say spoiled? That's right. One day he decided to build a statue of himself, and he definitely king-sized it. It stood at 90 feet tall and 9 feet wide. It was so amazing that the people closest to him agreed that this statue deserved to be worshipped. They told King Nebuchadnezzar that when all the races and nations heard the horns, flute, and other musical instruments, that they would have to bow down and worship the golden statue. But if anyone disobeyed, they would immediately be thrown into the blazing furnace. Nebuchadnezzar loved this idea, and he knew that because of how powerful he was, no one would refuse to worship his statue. Now, boys and girls, do you think he was wrong? Right, you're right that he was wrong. Either way, it didn't take long for the king to find out that there were 3 men who decided not to worship his statue. They were called Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And they knew that the only one truly worthy of being worshipped was God himself. And the king was not happy. King Nebuchadnezzar asked to see Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego so he can ask them in person if this was all true. Are you really not worshiping my statue? And they agreed. We're not. We rather worship the one true God, for he is the only one worthy of being worshipped. The king did not like this answer at all. So he immediately had them thrown into the fiery furnace. But to his surprise, they weren't nervous at all. But why weren't they nervous? Why weren't they pleading for their lives? You know why? It's because they knew that God would protect them, that everything was going to be okay. No matter what King Nebuchadnezzar threw their way, God could handle it. So the guards bound all 3 men up and marched them into the blazing fire. Nebuchadnezzar once again thought that he got his way. He thought that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego would no longer be a problem to him. But when he walked over to the fiery furnace to see if the 3 men were dead, instead what he saw stopped him right in his tracks. The king looked in and saw not 3, but 4 men, and the 4th one looked like God. So the king ordered that they be taken out of the fire to see if they were okay. And boys and girls, there was not a scratch on them. The Bible even tells us that they didn't even smell like smoke. King Nebuchadnezzar knew this could only be the work of the God they worshipped, and because of their trust in Jesus. So Nebuchadnezzar said, "Praise to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. There is no other God that can give victory like this." My favorite part of this story is how Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were not the only ones that won. It was the king's point of view that was turned around. And because of this, he too became a worshiper of the one true God. Has that ever happened for you? Have you ever believed something would happen even when everyone else didn't? And did it change the point of view of the people around you? God gives us opportunities like this all the time. He gives us a chance to show others around us that he is who he says he is. So while others choose to back down, you choose to be courageous and strong because you know that God has your back. Whether it's in sports, or riding that scooter for the first time, or maybe even passing that test that everyone knew they would fail. Either way, it's not just about accomplishing these things. It's about knowing that we could not do it without help from God who loves us. With God by our side, we have victory. Which leads us to our big idea. Will, are you ready for it? You can't hear us. All right, let's do it, boys and girls. Stand up on your feet. 1, 2, 3. Jesus won for me. Oh yeah, great job, guys. Still frozen. All right, so at this time, boys and girls, go ahead and stand on up, grab your Bibles, because it's time to do some winning of your own. You ready? 3, 2, 1, group.